I want to hear your real fear.
I don't have any, so don't worry about it. Okay, I'm afraid of heights. That's a real fear that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of spiders. Not really bugs.
Just
Afraid of
spiders
spiders. Just
generally.
spiders.
Spiders specifically.
And I'm afraid of what else am I afraid of? Like what's like an existential fear that I have?
Yeah.
I mean, like I have a fear that the people that are my friends don't like me, but that's kind of gone away over time, you know? Like
Yeah.
that was really big. They used to be really big, now not so much. I have a fear of the people that I love dying, not so
Mm,
much myself dying, you
yes.
know? I remember having a lot of anxiety over the death of my parents when I went to college. It's a
Mm,
huge anxiety, but
interesting. My biggest fear, I dropped a craisin earlier and I can't find it.
that's your biggest fear.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there.
Yeah, well, I'm worried that I'm gonna roll over it with my chair, and then I'm not gonna. It'll be past the point of
Man,
edibility.
it's past the point of edibility right now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
If something's edible, it has edibility.
I don't think there's like an itty for it. You know, I don't think that I don't
Hmm.
think there's an itty.
You know
I
why they
don't
call it the craisin?
because it's like a raisin but for a cranberry.
No.
No. Is that not why?
Do you know what craisin? What it means?
Well, it was invented by William T. Crazen.
Do you know what the word craisin means?
No.
Crappy raisin.
You don't like craisins?
Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that refuses to pay a thumbnail artist. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm Patrick. I thought that was nice of him to offer.
It was good to offer.
Yeah.
For all the way from Ghana to stumble across our little podcast. We're
Yeah, man.
international, baby.
Yeah, dude.
How do you think he found out about us? Is he a listener or is he just a
No.
guy? Oh.
No. This was the guy that I paid to do the TikTok
Oh,
video.
the other thing.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah,
did
yeah,
the
yeah.
video and then he was like, "Hey, I could also help you out with your
Yeah, which
thumbnails."
is great. I respect the hustle, you
Yeah.
know?
We're really, I think I read something. No, Emma read something and my wife, and she said it to me. I just, for all the new listeners out there.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're getting so many every week. Emma read something in some book that someone took a picture of a page and sent it to her, and she read it
Mhm.
out loud to me. And it's apparently Joseph Pieper quoted
Sure.
or paraphrased,
Yeah.
saying something along the lines of, a plan that lacks prudence done now is better than a perfect plan never executed.
Yes.
Because there's a preference for action now. The only way to gain the virtue of prudence is through experience, it's through doing.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I don't care that we don't have good thumbnails because we are learning as we are going.
Oh, sure, definitely.
We don't have a perfectly executed strategy. We don't have financial backers. We don't have any sort of. People ask me every week because I started this new job. So everybody's asking me about my podcast. "Oh, do you have a script? Do you have like things you say?" No, we don't have anything. But you want to know what? You want to know one thing that I've learned? Prudence.
I've just learned prudence.
I'm growing in virtue
No, this is good.
because of our show.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's true. I think I've grown in virtue because of this show over the
You think
course of
so?
the year. Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like my interactions with you specifically have kind of like sharpened or like sanded off some of the rough edges of my I think being friends with you has made me less insecure.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I think being friends with you has made me. This is the affirmation part of the show. We start every week with some affirmations. We should do that.
We're like a women's podcast, you know?
Oh, yes, yes.
Dude,
We're
no, seriously, that's not even a
abiding
joke.
apart.
That's not even a joke. If Phoebe's Okay, in Franciscan there were households,
Yeah.
and
They're like
they're
fraternities,
like fraternities, and the
but much
guys
much lamer.
they would go on retreat. We would go on retreats, and the guys would
Yeah.
go on retreat, and we would go to like the woods, and we would like light fires and smoke
Yeah.
cigars, and we would like throw things. The girls' retreats would go to like someone's house, and they
Mhm.
would stay up all night affirming each other. There's one time
That doesn't
they
sound like
my
a retreat, that sounds like work.
when my wife when my wife was on one of these retreats, they were like
Mhm.
everyone in the household. This is a household of like 20 people.
Mhm.
They would like, you're in the hot seat, and everyone's gonna affirm you
Oh
around the
gosh.
circle, and then we're gonna move on to the next person.
Yeah.
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
Well,
Um,
I don't wanna move away from what I was gonna say to you because
sorry, yeah.
I don't wanna forget my affirmation of you.
Oh, sure.
I think that my friendship with you has made me more sensitive to the thoughts and feelings of others.
Interesting. So we've
Ye
kind of like worked in opposite directions.
Correct. You have made it you care less about other people because of me, and I care more about other people because of you.
Yeah, this
Isn't
is good.
that's beautiful, I think.
Yeah,
Yin and yang,
indeed.
you and me. We're like
I I
2 koi fish swimming at the North Pole,
I've been
and
thinking
one of
about
us is
this.
gonna get killed by General Zhao.
I'm
It's
sorry.
gonna be me.
My wife is calling, but
Answer
she
it.
just wa I
Content,
think
content, content.
okay.
Hey, Phoebe, you're on the podcast. Hang up if
Hey,
you wanna
baby,
be
hang
on.
out with your Oh, hey. How are you? Sorry, you're on the podcast. All right, I love you. Bye. That was Phoebe, my wife.
I'm busy now. You've lost my attention.
I've been thinking about this because I've reached a point in my book. I've hit kind of a snag. Okay,
Oh,
so I kind of threw myself off a little bit because I
side
in
note,
my
we need to start a separate podcast for you to just talk about the process of writing your book so that we don't we don't have to dedicate 10 minutes to it every week on our
just
podcast.
what I'm doing
I know
every day.
it's fine. I'm just giving you a hard time. But tell me about
Um,
the snag.
the snag was that in my chapter plan, I had 7 chapters planned. Chapter 3 was like a review of literature, which is very interesting. Um, essentially, the plan was like, I'm going to talk about Pope John Paul II said. Then I'm going to talk about this, and then the fourth chapter was the conclusion that the conclusions we can draw from all those people.
Sure.
But when I was writing chapter 3, I drew all the conclusions, and so I got to chapter 4, and I was like, crap, I already wrote this.
What do we do? Can you not split
And
chapter 3 into 2 chapters?
I could. I've worked out a better way to go. So
Oh,
instead of that, I was like, okay, how about instead of just like drawing the conclusions, then I just take each conclusion and I work out what it means in practice, right? So like
praxis.
instead of sure, instead of just saying, there's a really great Cardinal Ottavani quote. I don't know. That's about I don't know how to say his name, but it's a quote about like what spiritual fatherhood is and what spiritual motherhood is. And he says the spiritual mother is the one that lets the child know that he is, no matter what he does, he is loved. And a spiritual father is one that lets the child know that something is expected of him.
Mm,
You know, and so spiritual fatherhood is very like tactile. It's very tangible. And I was thinking about what that means. I was thinking about all the men in my life that have like kind of formed me as friends and as like father figures and all those things. And a lot of it has been that like something is expected of you. Like you're, it's. I have enough. Like you're safe here. Like that's fine. Like it's
mhm,
more
mhm.
of like the thing that I really needed to learn was how to step up, you know?
Mm.
Like when the biggest thing in high school was like always skipping class because I didn't
That's
need to
true.
go
You
to
skip
class.
class like a crazy guy all
Yeah,
the
all the
time.
time, all the time.
That's man, I'm so jealous. I'm
and
so mad
and
I went to school.
and
I should have dropped out. Whatever. I should have joined the civil.
no matter what teachers said to me,
Mhm.
um it was like, Patrick will fail you. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, you're not gonna fail
Um,
me.
you're not gonna fail me. Uh, and the thing that stopped me was when my orcs teacher said, I think I've said this on the podcast, like, "Hey Patrick, what do you think all the other people in your class that are struggling? Like, sure, you don't struggle with this class, right? But what do you think people are gonna think about the way they approach their school, right? When they see you skipping class, the kids who need to go to class are gonna skip. So like." for their sake, you shouldn't. And I was like, wow, that's a really good point. I'm not going to do
Mhm.
that anymore. Um,
I'm gonna keep
and
skipping class. I'm gonna
I'm
tear
gonna
down the
keep.
whole system.
I'm gonna tell the system, baby.
Thanks,
But like
orchestra.
that was the kind of thing that was like, you know, uh, calling me to task instead of just saying, you're gonna receive consequences if you don't behave the way that I want you to.
Right.
It was like the world expects something of you. Or another instance was, um, I lost the election for school president, class president. I didn't. I only wanted it so that I could graduate first. Right. That's all I wanted.
Uh-huh.
I
Is
didn't
that what
get.
happened at your school? Is the class president got to walk first?
Yeah, and then it was followed by the student government, and then you were followed by the people who earned their ACE diploma, which is like AP diploma, and then the people who earned their associate's degree
Wow.
at the local college. Which earning a college degree is more impressive than an AP certificate,
It's
but
also more
whatever.
impressive than being the president of the
Yes,
high school.
exactly. Which is why I dropped out of the ACE program because I knew that it wasn't going to get me
Also, crazy
anything.
that your high school was just straight up like, we're not gonna hide the fact that we're a meritocracy at all. Like, there's no illusions of democracy, no illusions
Yeah,
of equality. It's just the government's going first, and then the smart people, and then the people who can afford to go to college,
than the
and then
regular people.
and then everyone else.
Everyone else. But what I did was I ran and I ran for student government because I was like, this is the only way that I'm gonna not graduate alphabetically because I'm in the
Mhm.
ends. I'm gonna be like in the third row from the back. It's
Yeah,
weird.
the N's, feared late letter in the alphabet. The N.
Well, you have to remember everybody else. There's like half of the class is graduating ahead of you, and then the alphabet is in the back. And so there's
Sure.
like anyway. I dropped out of the ACE program because I found out that it wasn't going to help me at Franciscan, and I knew I wanted to go to Franciscan. Long story short, I ran for student class president. I lost to the guy who had been it for 3 years. Like obviously,
Yeah, the incumbent.
the incumbent. And he'd been doing it for 3 years. It would have been unfair for me to win senior class president.
Did
He
you
had been
get
doing it.
close?
Oh no, I don't even think it
Oh,
was kind
okay.
of close. It was me, him, and his ex girlfriend
All
running
running?
for who liked me at the time. So it was like it was
Whoa.
ripe for I
I'm
think I
surprised
don't
that
remember.
him and her didn't split the vote,
You would think, yeah.
with the
It was a
breakup.
real it was a real Obama, McCain, Hillary Clinton situation.
Right.
I don't know which
Where
one I
where
was.
after McCain and Clinton broke up, everyone voted for Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
not to
Obama.
say that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama couldn't have dated.
I think
I'm just assuming that
if you went to my high school, don't quote me on that. I think I may have gotten that all wrong, but it doesn't matter. I've
John
forgotten all the
McCain and Hillary
lore.
Clinton had more in common. They were both prisoners of war. One was in Vietnam, the other one was in the White House.
The other one was married to Bill Clinton.
Yeah, they was married to William Clinton.
That was my war.
Yeah. Every day
Um,
waking up in the Lincoln bedroom
or something. I don't know.
or something. I don't know
Uh,
anything about politics.
so so
Opening my
me
emails.
me
That
and
was
this
my
girl
war.
lost. We
Yeah,
lost, and
right. Then you started dating.
no,
You're like, "Man, we have a lot in common. We both lost.
we're both losers. All right.
You wanna make out now?"
And so they offered us like they the way it was student government was a club, right? And they were like, if you want to be a part of the club, we're not going to not let you be a part of the club. Like that's not
Right,
fair,
right.
I mean, it's totally fair. It's a meritocracy. And
Club
so
it
they
up.
offered us. They were like, hey, we can like create two positions for you. Like we can create like a representative. So we have. But I was like, it was funny because all the positions were like executive branch. So it was like president is cabinet, and we were like representatives. I don't know how we were any different from like how what we were just
I
part of the crew, right?
I still don't know what a senator is.
Yeah, that's fine. And
So,
so we were representatives, and I was like, no, this is a consolation prize. I shot my shot and I lost. I'm just gonna take the L. I don't want this I don't want this pity.
mhm.
And they called over the PA like everyone who is in student council, student government. There's a meeting like you have to come. And I was in choir practice, and my choir teacher was like, Patrick, you're one of them, right? You're in that. And I was like, no, I didn't win. I'm like a representative or whatever. And he said, Patrick, the world is run by people who show up. Go show up.
Wow.
And
What is
I was
that?
like,
Wow, this what is with you and all of your musical arts teachers giving you life lessons?
I know it was great. I was like, that's the kind of thing that I'm gonna remember when I'm older, and it is. I've like thought about every time I think about like not going to something because like oh it's beneath me oh, it might not be awesome. It's like, well, I mean, just show up and see what happens. You'll waste an hour, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And because I did that, I signed up to make a quiche for the senior party that we were throwing.
Okay.
Um, and I that was the one meeting that I did something for. I helped with senior homecoming. That was something else I did, and I got to graduate sixth in my class
Wow.
with a 3 point GPA.
And now next, so we've had the president, the vice president. Next up, the quiche chair, Patrick
Have I told
Nevy
this story? It's a
III.
really stupid story. My
You
guidance
haven't told any of
counselor,
these stories.
my guidance counselor, who was the ACE guidance counselor, I dropped out of ACE. She was like,
You
Patrick,
dropped him like a bag of bricks.
I dropped her, and she was very disappointed in me for dropping the ACE program. She's like, you have a lot of potential, which is
Oh
what they
no.
say to
You
smart kids. Um,
yeah.
and I was up in sixth place with all the rest of student government. And Shauna Jones, doxed, comes up to me and goes, Patrick, you did not get your ACE diploma. You have to go back and graduate alphabetically. And I was like, oh no, Mrs. Jones, I made a quiche.
I'm a quiche boy.
I made a quiche. I am going to graduate sixth. And she's
When was
like,
the last time you made a quiche, Shauna?
and I was like, I'm in student government. She's like, you're not in the program. And I was like, go ask Mr. Shelton. And so she huffs off and she talks to him. And then Shauna Jones and Mr. Shelton and the principal of the school come up to me. And the principal of the school says, Patrick, you're not in the program. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm in student government.
Yeah, I
And he's like,
made a
yeah.
quiche.
He's like, yeah, yeah, we know. We didn't realize that you were in student government, and so we didn't put you in the program. I'm really sorry. If you and your parents want, I can print you a new program to commemorate your graduation with your name in student government. I was like, oh no, yes, that is exactly what I want. I want you to do that.
Yeah.
And I did.
Dang. That's so crazy that you made an adult spend time in Microsoft Word for yourself.
Yeah.
I
have some other crazy stories from my senior year, but I'll save those for another podcast. I got a bunch of dimes.
Speaking of quiches, did you watch the State of the Union last night?
There was a State of the Union last night.
So
that was in January.
Our president Joe Biden had I almost called him Jim Biden.
Jim Biden.
He's so funny to meet the president one day and call him Jim. Oh, nice to meet you, Jim. Oh, and he probably wouldn't even think anything of it because he
probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah,
he'd be like, "Nice to meet you too."
Yeah.
When they have the White House podcasters dinner, we'll call him Jim.
Right. A lot of the Republicans are saying that my name is Jim. He's just kind of looking around like he does. He's like a bird perched, surveying the field for predators. Well, I'll tell you something. I am not Jim. Anyway,
soda. Soda.
So you should go look up some of the clips because I think some are saying
yes,
January 6th, the Donald Trump presidency, QAnon. Is there anything else bad that's happened? The kind of the Congress. People are saying that the government's in decline, right? That the American system is not working. We're going to have to change it up.
They've been saying that for years.
People are still saying it. But last night at the State of the Union, our president.
Sorry, Mr. Franklin. We couldn't keep the republic.
Our president, Mr. Jim Biden, was talking about how the Republicans
I'm trying to think of like a really boomery meme.
Yeah.
with like a minion saluting that just says, "Sorry, Mr. Franklin. We couldn't keep the republic."
Like Benjamin Franklin?
Yeah, there's that.
You have a republic if you can keep it. Yeah.
A republic if you can keep it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Franklin.
What government have we, Dr. Franklin? A republic if you can keep it.
It's Benjamin Franklin coming out of the Continental Congress, and it's Jover meme where Jover is looking down. It's Jover. So he's talking about how the Republicans are holding the economy hostage and how the the previous administration, the debt went up, but in his administration, the debt's going down. And he's,
Yeah,
it's
baby.
way better than what the previous administration. And it was pretty incredible because I saw this clip and all the Republicans started hooting and hollering like they're in the British Parliament. Like everybody started kind of yelling, like
Whoa,
during the State of the Union.
yeah.
And people were standing up and they were like, no, you're a liar, and all these things. And everyone's like, oh, this is so shameful. This is so disgraceful that, freaking whoever the lady is that I don't know her name, but everyone's mad at her all the time. She,
Marjorie Taylor
yeah,
Greene.
that one. She's like, I can't believe she would yell at the president during the State of the Union. And I'm over here like, we need more of this. We've been too polite for too long.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the fact that it made news that AOC was giving a speech and then she took her little notebook and went, which is like a nothing. Like everyone's like, she furiously slammed down her notebook. It's like, okay, let's start lighting flares, in the Congress, like a soccer match. Like, let's start to have something.
Do you guys forget that one time where a congressman was beaten within an inch of his life in Congress in America, in the United States?
Was that Aaron Burr?
No. He shot someone. That was just That was
kind
different.
it's kind of like beating someone up, just doing it really fast and in one specific location.
The Ben Franklin thing reminded me of a tweet from Riley Sharapa. She was in a meeting and dude in the back is screaming tax. She said, in a meeting, dude in the back is screaming taxation is theft. And I replied, Ben Franklin's personal diary, July 1st, 1776. In a meeting, some dude is screaming taxation is theft. Sorry. I just thought it was funny. Anyway, we need more of that.
we need more of that. I thought you'd have more to say about the British Parliament turning into the British Parliament.
Have you seen videos of the British Parliament?
Oh yeah.
Parliamentary procedure, first of all, I think Parliament is I love it. I love the idea.
Great. Yeah.
First off, it's really interesting.
Sometimes they have animals walking around.
Really? Today? I don't think so.
Yeah, they have a little monkey that carries tea trays around to the different people, and they're like, "Get that monkey out of here!" And
Boo,
the monkey!
I miss the Beatles or something. I don't know.
He's a freaking Tory. That one is. He's a wig.
Smells French, isn't it?
This is that monkey's name is Cromwell, isn't it?
Take that monkey back to the House of Lords.
Yeah, put that monkey where he belongs, with the opposition party. I don't know anything. You were saying something about parliamentary procedure.
So there's like a thing in Parliament where like you write like when they take the minutes of Parliament and like they don't. I don't know if this is British Parliament, but there's a way to do congressional or parliamentary things.
There's a way to do Congress.
You don't write down who said what.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? Never mind.
It's like it.
Okay, you don't need to like. And we've done this in like closed door meetings where.
Are you talking about Robert's rules right now?
What are you talking about?
You don't know about Robert's rules.
Is this like Elmo's world?
What? Can you imagine? Elmo needs a 2/3 majority in order to pass.
Way to bust out that Elmo impression. What the heck, man? That was so good.
Oh, thank you.
Can you sing the whole song?
No, I can't. I can't sing the
Why
whole
not?
song. I can only do Elmo doing Robert's rules. That's my only skill.
Elmo needs a 2/3 majority. That was so good.
No, Robert's rules is like it's like a book that is, here's how to run a meeting. Like, this is the point of order, point of information. You have to commence the meeting, call it to order. This thing needs a second. This thing does it. This thing needs a simple majority.
Overruled.
Yeah, no, but it's if you've ever been in any type of formal meeting where they say I move and I motion and I second,
sure.
that's Robert's rules. It's a system of governing meetings. You'd really like it. I think. It
sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds like something that's right up your alley, that if you read it, you're going to be like, I'm so into this. I'm going to do all my meetings this way now.
I love it.
I just added a little page on Notion where I recorded all of Robert's rules, and now all of our podcast meetings are going to be like this.
All of our podcasts is like, I move that we do a bit about over the hedge, and you go, I second.
I moved to indefinitely suspend Robert's rules in our podcast meetings, and Patrick's like, second. Dang it. He's so mad.
You made me second.
Robert's rules. So that's part. So
Oh.
I don't know what you were talking about with you don't have to put the names down with the notes.
They do a parliamentary debate at Franciscan sometimes, and it's this house believes blank, and it's like for the motion, against the motion, and they debate it, and um, they don't write down who said what. They just say like the opposition said, this person from the opposition. Like they don't specify who said what, and it's really great because you can really you can kind of
It's like a
let the
play.
ideas flow, without being like held accountable after the fact for like this is what he believes.
That's
it's
that's
also
the best form of government.
You also
No
don't have
accountability.
to but it's like the body itself is kind of coming up with what it believes. It's like here's the
sure.
But they've also
symbolic.
done a really cool they've done really cool things in the past where they do a charity debate where it's $1 to speak and then $10 to make someone stop talking. Isn't that funny?
That is kind of funny.
Isn't it great?
We should do that.
Like do like a debate of, but it's great at Franciscan because if they pick a hot button issue that people at Franciscan like hate, they get like up in arms over, like the
what?
Latin Mass or whether the tabernacle and the chapel should be in the center or off to the side.
Should girls be allowed to be in the same classroom as boys?
Like are leggings allowed in the gym? Should we have leggings discourse would happen at the Franciscan University of Steubenville every year on the Facebook page. It was bad.
So you're telling me that Franciscan is just Catholic Twitter incarnate?
Yes. Oh yes.
Oh boy.
It's ridiculous.
I don't want to go anymore. Obnoxious. I've been thinking about going and getting my bachelor's degree in communications and theology, but I've decided to not.
The thing is like every so often someone would completely unironically and with the best intentions in their heart post on the Franciscan University of Steubenville student-run social page. I've really been thinking about this a lot, and like I'm just like concerned that the women of our university aren't considering the struggles that men have, and they're going to the gym and they would just go on this tirade. Sometimes it was a guy doing this. It's like, hey man, you're telling on yourself. Just like just calm down. It's okay. Like look at the ground. The ground has no butts on it.
Yeah.
Unless you're sitting there. So
right. Well, that's tough.
It was.
I feel bad for those
1,000 comments, and then there were like in jokes where it's like instead of posting a debate, post Spider-Man, and people would just spam Spider-Man gifs in the comments. Let's get this thread to 1,000. Yeah, it was.
That's what I would do. That's what I do in the Discord when people start having discussions in the memes channel. I just post a bunch of memes to right the ship. We got to get this thing back. Yeah. We gotta go hard to port, as it were.
Sure.
You liked my sailing tweet the other day. You thought that was
what
fun.
Was it?
You need to be swashbuckling. You need to be hoisting the mainsail. You need to be swabbing the deck.
I did like that one. Yeah, that was good.
I've just been thinking about going on a boat more.
Oh, sure. Good thing you live in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you my frustration with transportation lately. Why did you look side to side?
Well, because it had like a little bit of a flow to it, like my frustration with transportation in this nation.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And here comes the
bars.
So here's my frustration. Last night, I was in Dallas yesterday for a job.
Yeah.
And job was good.
That's why you weren't texting me back, because you were at work or driving.
I was driving from like 7 a.m. to 10:30, and then I was meetings all day, and then I was driving from 6 to 10, basically. Long day. Raining all day long.
Oh no.
Raining at night. So I drove Emma's Nissan Altima, which I don't like doing, even though it gets better gas mileage because it's so low to the ground. I like driving my Honda Pilot, even though it doesn't have heat and water comes in where your feet are. But because you're higher up, you can see more. And so not only was I lower and I was getting more of the splashback from the trucks that I was passing, but the people behind me, biology is amazing because at night your retinas get bigger to see more. But then what happens is that the trucks behind you, they have really bright lights on. And so your retinas are huge And so it's in the window shining, or the mirror
I
shining
don't think
back
it's
at your
retinas,
eyes.
but yeah, it's like,
What
yeah,
is the black part in the middle?
the pupils.
The pupils. My they get huge
Yeah.
to see more, and then the LED lights from these Dodge Ram trucks are shining in my rearview mirror and my side mirror back into my eyes. It's pouring rain. There's a truck in front of me. I can't see the middle line or the sideline or actually at all.
You're driving blind at 80 miles an hour.
I'm driving blind 80 miles an hour. I'm stiff as a board here,
And your hands
gripping
are up here.
gripping the wheel at 10 and 2, and I lay down in bed when I got home, and I like woke up in the middle of the night because the boy was screaming, and my neck was like so sore. And I'm like, it's those dang truck drivers with their LED lights.
I don't know if that's why.
Well, it's a lot of things, but I'm frustrated because I would like to simply board a train and sleep on the train and then arrive at my destination.
I've been like, I was like so mad. I posted this. I don't think people saw it as a joke, but I was like, I'm trying to come up with a derogatory term for people who drive an hour a day for work.
Yeah.
You
What are
know, how
the
people have,
commuters?
commuters. Yeah, like commuters derogatory. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just I don't know. I don't you know how there's like derogatory terms for people. It's like on the
Oh yeah.
internet. You know,
What are some examples just so that I know? Can you
just
share
so you
some
know.
with me?
Sure, let me just
Yeah,
bleep all this out real
I
quick.
don't know any derogatory terms. I would like to know some.
You know how people say like Zoomer, but they mean it like mean. You know,
Zoomer.
Zoomers,
Yeah.
millennial, boomers. Yeah,
Boomers.
boomer is a good example.
Podcasters.
Podcasters, derogatory.
Yeah.
Um, just because I was so frustrated with
Mhm.
like cars. I was listening to a podcast and the guy was describing his like he's like, I moved with my wife. His wife was doing a residency at a hospital in Anchorage, Alaska. And he moved his job remote for 5 weeks while she did the residency. And he rented like a co-working space in downtown Anchorage.
Nice.
Not a big place, downtown
Sure.
Anchorage.
Sure.
But he would walk from their house. It was like
But
about a
it's
1
bustling.
1.5 mile. Yeah, 1.5 miles. So like not a very long walk. But every
Mm.
day he would like take a short 20-minute walk. That's like less than most people's commutes. He would walk from his house to his work. He got to see the mountains, breathe fresh air, work,
Oh,
walk home in the evening, you know? And I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. I'm never going to have that. I
yeah.
just got really sad.
Yeah, you're making me sad. I'm thinking
And
about the
it's not
cold
like
mountain air. Mm.
and it's not like we don't live in beautiful parts of the country. Pittsburgh is gorgeous.
Oklahoma's
Like
pretty
there's
nasty.
You think so?
Yeah, it's not the prettiest state because it's flat, but it has none of like the plains that Kansas
Oh,
has,
sure.
and it's got. I mean, the dirt here is red.
That's fair.
That's about
Red
it.
red dirt,
It's
baby.
the red dirt Riviera. I tell you what, there are places in Oklahoma that are beautiful, but on the whole,
I mean, it's like okay, I guess all the places that I've lived are gorgeous except for Houston. But it's like the I lived in Melbourne. It's on the beach. There's a bunch of like it's a mixed biome. It's deciduous and tropical. One of the only
oh,
places in the world that's like
like in
that.
Minecraft.
Yeah, and it's I lived in Pittsburgh. There's like foothills here. It's beautiful in the fall. All this stuff, and it's like, why can't I just live in one of the suburbs of Pittsburgh that's like it has a main street and a first, second, third, fourth, fifth street and like a couple of churches and office buildings, like
Hmm.
and homes near restaurants. Like why does it all have to be a Denny's surrounded by 80 parking lot spots that is shared with a Walmart that has a million parking spots and a Wendy's that has its own 80 parking spots? Why can't we just shove all those buildings together? No parking spots and I can just walk there.
No, that doesn't work.
Why is there so many parking spots for me to drive my big car from my apartment to the Walmart to the Denny's to the bank to my office? Why can't all of those things that I'm assuming other people use be close together and like we all live around it and we can just walk there? There's also no sidewalks
Yes.
in suburban Pittsburgh because they need space for roads. It's frustrating, Ethan.
If you ever want to get road pilled, just look at how much of the road that people use when it's snowy.
Yeah, we
and you
talked about this the
realize,
other day.
yeah, you
Yeah.
realize how little of the road people actually use. Um, I yeah,
Ever want to get road pilled? Look at the parking lot for a baseball stadium versus the baseball
the
stadium.
baseball stadium. It's like,
Like, how much
gosh.
space do we need when you're driving?
Mm,
You're one person on the road has the
yes.
equivalent of 2 trunks and 2 sofas, and they're just one guy. And it's like,
Mhm.
what if instead of what if we all I goofed about this a couple of days ago, but I was like, people commented like they didn't like I didn't know what I was talking about. But I was like, traffic is so dumb. Like you're all going in the same direction. Why didn't you people carpool? And someone was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, if only we had like a thing that was a bunch of cars." And I was like, "Yeah, no, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
get
the whole point.
trains."
I saw a tweet once that was like, "How TF is traffic a thing? Just go." I like that one a lot
I
because
like
that's
that one too.
because that's every single time I was stuck in traffic the other day, and it's like you get to the end of it and you realize there's nothing in the way. It's just people going slow at the end of it.
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
crazy.
extremely
So
frustrating.
there's this part if you're going into Pittsburgh, there's a part where the road kind of dips down and you're like
Yeah.
it's not a hill, it's like you're going between 2 hills actually, which is crazy. And man was not made to go between 2 hills. All right, we were supposed the hills separated us from one another because those people are scary and different, and we are right and correct, and we should take
Hmm.
their land anyway.
I don't know anything about
The
hills.
so oh,
I'm
that's
from
fair.
Kansas.
So if you go down a hill and you see traffic, it was like it was crazy because the traffic was moving backwards in a wave. Like the part of the road, I don't know if I can describe this well. The part of the road where the traffic was going further back. Like it was moving backwards because what
Mm.
had happened was a couple of people like hit the brakes and then that caused the people in the back behind them to
Yeah,
hit the
yeah, yeah.
brakes and all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. And then you're going really slow all of a sudden for no reason, and then you move forward. And this is the problem with roads is that it's instead of 100 or so people or like 500 people on the same train that's driven by one guy going to the same place, it's 500 people all making individual decisions.
You're preaching to the choir, man. I'm
And
not.
that's a bad way to come up. That's a bad way to move
But
everyone in and
it's
out of the
not gonna
city.
change. There's nothing that will change about this.
What if we did something huge?
Yeah?
What what if we got elected? What if we wrote a letter to Jim Biden and said,
Uh-huh.
"Hey,
Sir.
can you please make cars illegal for like a week and just see what happens?"
Well,
Like
that's what
big
they're
truck.
trying to do in California. They're trying to take away the guns, trying to take away the cars. They're trying to put me on dirty transportation with a, you know, urban gaze. and I and I don't want to do that.
I would love to ride a train. I don't care if there's smelly people next to me. There's smelly people in my car. I have a baby. All right.
Yeah,
I
kids
I
do
I
smell.
I would love to just sit like I don't care if I live 30 minutes from my office if I have to take a train. I could just read, you know?
Hey man, I get it. I
Anyway, I was feeling depressed the last couple of weeks because I was just tired of sitting in my car. I I
yeah. I've been getting a lot of depression from you.
you've been
Just a
catching it or you like the vibe. You like
I'm
get
get like through the screen, I'm getting a lot of depression from you. And I feel like it's all kind of coming out now. It's being
uh
directed at me, and I want you to know that I didn't build the roads. It was not. Don't you can't be mad at me. We're on the
I
same
was I
team.
was I was saying to Phoebe the other day, I was like, I would gladly take all of the time that I will spend in a car for the rest of my life, and I would take that time off the end. I will die 6% sooner rather
Wow.
than never go in a car again. I would rather never go in a car again and die sooner than live longer and have to spend most of that time in a car. Did you know we spend 6% of our lives in cars?
No.
That's so much time.
Yeah. This is something that I don't like that you do is that you post these tweets like once a week that's like, "Have a morning commute this morning. Instead of a podcast, you should call a friend." I'm like, "Patrick, the last time that I want to call my friend is when I'm in the car at 7:30 in the morning. I'm angry, I'm hungry,
Mhm.
I'm tired. I don't want to call. I'm not going to have a good conversation with any of my friends. I need you to stop making that tweet because
Once a month, baby.
it makes me mad every time I see it.
I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm
No,
gonna tweet it twice a month now.
I'm going to block you right now.
No.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now there's stakes, huh? Yeah, now you feel my pain. Whatever, dude.
Oh man, yeah,
I
it's funny.
Changing subjects. Do you know how to cut a spaghetti squash without slicing your finger open?
No, did you slice your finger open while cutting a
Right,
spaghetti
right.
squash?
One of these. I don't remember which one.
No,
I
I'm
looked
sorry.
up. I googled how to open spaghetti squash, and
How to open it? Like, they were like, look for the pop top on the bottom. You open it, all the spaghetti should come out.
it was like take a very sharp take. It's like all of these articles are like take the nicest chef's knife that you could possibly purchase and use it to cut open the spaghetti squash. It's like okay, I don't have a nice chef's knife.
Amazon affiliate link.
I tried to sharpen it. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but
Yeah.
I couldn't. It took me 13 minutes to get this thing open. And I used 4 different knives and I managed to cut one of my fingers and I don't know how I did it. But I think it's I have a theory about gourds. I don't think
Sure.
they were
What's your
meant to be
theory?
opened.
No.
I think they are meant to be little capsules that we were never meant to uncover the contents of. Kind of like an Egyptian tomb that's been sealed.
Sure.
I don't want to see the inside of a pumpkin. There's a reason it's all gross in there. It's because we weren't supposed to be in there, you
It
know?
does look pretty gross.
That's the thing. That's why you have such revulsion. You see someone's guts spilling out on the side of the road or on a movie or whatever. You're like you're like I should not have seen that. That's gross to me.
Yeah.
Same thing with the gourd. Don't like it. Stringy, seeds, smelly,
Ew.
sticky, not meant for human eyes.
That's why when you see those pumpkins, the hilarious ones that are like bleh, and they're puking their guts out,
Right. Well, that's just it's
it
those are
looks
funny.
accurate.
Those are funny because it's true. Truth in comedy. It's like
Teresa
this is
Bovink.
accurate. I'm as repulsed by this pumpkin as I ought to be. This is correct. You know, there's harmony now.
Yeah.
Pumpkins are not cute.
No.
Spaghetti squash, butternut squash.
They're cute. They're cute from the outside. That's how they were meant to be enjoyed. Little
Yes.
pumpkins. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They can leave them up as decoration.
Yeah.
Do not open them up. You know the gourd from VeggieTales? You know his name's Jerry?
There's Jerry and Jimmy.
Jerry and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
No, they're cute from the outside.
They are cute from the outside.
I saw that TikTok
You did?
I did
Yeah?
with Bob as he's like, I'm not a hat, Jimmy Gord.
It's pretty funny, right?
It was really good.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
I would never forget you. If I was Jimmy Gord, I would never forget you, Bob. Thank you, Kanye West.
Oh, we'll post a link to that TikTok in
Oh
the
my gosh,
description.
that's so funny.
It was really funny. Um,
Do you remember when I sent you that AI voice to text, text to voice, Bob the tomato?
no.
It was Larry the cucumber saying, "Bob, I think it's time we repented and submit to the Pope."
Oh, yeah. I do remember
Yeah,
that. I do remember that.
yeah,
I think you know what we should do? We should do a VeggieTales commentary track.
that'd be fun.
That
We
would
could
be
get
fun.
Phil Vischer to retweet it.
We could get Phil Vischer to retweet it, and we could just do the old ones. We could watch the old ones all the way up until they did. We'll end at Jonah the VeggieTales movie because that's where it all. After that, it's like they
All
lost it.
downhill.
It's
Yeah,
all
no,
downhill from there.
that is actually where they lost it. They went
Yes.
bankrupt after that movie.
They went bankrupt and they were acquired by some Chinese studio.
Yeah, they were just by the Food Network. Yeah, it got real bad. They
Is
were
that
acquired by the
true?
food. They were acquired by the Food Network, and
The Food Network bought VeggieTales?
no, that'd be
Oh,
funny though, right?
oh. Can you
Yeah.
imagine
How do you
Alton
think they came
Brown
up?
showing up in an episode of VeggieTales?
It's the opposite of Hell's Kitchen.
Alton Brown and Gordon Ramsay swirling, two diametrically opposed forces battling for all eternity.
Over the souls of Bob and Larry.
That's funny.
Hey,
I'd watch that. Yeah,
Ethan,
what's
do you
up?
think do the veggies have rational souls or do they have vegetable souls?
Well, they clearly are able to sin and repent. And so
That's true. Yeah.
to
They are.
me, that is however, the French peas are animals.
The French peas soul. The souls of the French peas are annihilated on
They're
death.
annihilated upon death. The rest of them are have eternal souls. Can
The
you
French
imagine?
peas are the best.
Oui, I cannot wait to see the beatific vision.
Annihilated on death.
Crushed peas.
Pea soup.
I don't have anything else to say about the VeggieTales, but I do think that you and I should find time in the next couple of weeks to set aside like a Saturday morning, just crush through like 10 VeggieTales episodes
Sure.
and put them up on Patreon.
That'd be fun.
I think that would be fun.
I'd have a great time.
We'll talk about it in our weekly meeting that will
Uh-huh.
happen soon.
We haven't had one in a
We haven't
while.
had one this week or last week. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, we'll talk about it at a weekly meeting next week on the podcast. I'll let you know where you can find our VeggieTales content.
It'll be great.
It will be great. Do you want to do Dr. Ethan's Dating Corners about that time?
Really? Is it about that time for Dr. Ethan's Dating
In a
Corner?
minute, I can get a little sentimental. It's about that time.
So since I am married now,
Yes.
I've finished the main quest and I'm just doing side quests. I don't care.
Implying that children are side quests.
They are. It's like children are side quests because you are all of a sudden no longer the main character in your
It's
life.
the
Like
it's it's the side quest that you have to grind for hours and hours and hours to increase your rep with a certain faction so you can buy like a little egg that might turn into a special horse. And like that's what it's like to raise kids.
children are side quests because you become like a background character. Like you
Yeah.
become Arthur's mom. Like no one knows what her name was, but she's in the show. So, but Arthur's
We don't
like the guy, you know?
do we really not know Arthur's parents' names?
Do you know Arthur's parents' names off the top of your head?
Arthur's dad, his name is Dorothy, and his
Nope, that's
mom's
a
name
woman's name.
is Winifred. And then they
Yep.
named their daughter Dorothy Winifred. And that's
Mhm.
why Arthur is so mad all the time, is because his
He didn't
parents
get a name.
named his younger sister after them, and he got named Arthur.
One of the funniest bits from The Office is that Andy was named after his dad, Walter Jr., and then his brother was born, and they named his younger brother Walter Jr., and they renamed him Andy out of a baby name book. That's
That's
really,
funny.
isn't
That
that
is
really fun? That's like a super slept on bit. Like people
that's
don't talk about that
crazy.
enough. Um, okay,
Arthur's mom.
so
Arthur, hold on. Arthur's mom, clean. Her name's
what?
Jane.
Okay.
And then Arthur's dad. I just didn't want anything weird to pop up. Arthur's dad.
Well, you gotta tell us.
So I googled Arthur's dad, and it pulled up King Arthur's dad. His name is Uther Pendragon, and that's not who I was trying to locate.
His mom's name is Jane, and his dad's name is Uther
Pendragon. Oh my gosh, that just took me by surprise. It's like his mom's name is Jane and his dad is King Uther, legendary king of the Britons in sub-Roman Britain. His dad's name is David.
Boring names.
Yeah, so that's David and Jane. And it comes up with like a picture of him too. Like if you just Google Arthur's dad, you'll see this guy with like a staff and a crown. It's just not what you'd expect.
That's funny.
Sorry, that just really got me.
But
Okay.
you become like a background character in your kid's life because
Yes.
you know they show up and it's like they show up in the middle of a story, you know, like
Mhm.
they show up in the middle of everybody else's life. But
Kids.
to them, from their perspective, yeah, kids.
Yeah.
From their perspective, that's when it begins. So
Right.
like they're just like everything else is just background, you know,
Yeah.
like for Leo, it's you know, he's like my grandpa is always going to be, you know, someone that he never got to meet. So it's like cool, this is someone who I know about, you know.
Mhm.
But like for me, he's a very real person who I could like talk to.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's just interesting that like from my perspective, right? Like my ancestors to some of my parents and my relatives, like they're really real, but to me, it's like they're not. They're just people that exist. Anyway, when you become a parent, you to your kid, you're just a background character, which is fine. I must decrease. He must increase. That's how
That's
parenting
true.
works.
That's true. One day your son will
Because
be bigger than you.
indeed, and because I'm only doing side quests, I don't really read the dating corner chat that much in the Discord.
Ooh.
But also because I don't want to ruin
No
the
spoilers.
I don't want spoilers for the show. But
Yeah.
you can go get spoiled by going to bit.ly/crunch discord, link in description,
Wow.
and you can input your dating corner question so you can get sage advice from Ethan. Maybe it'll even show up in a TikTok. Who knows? This one, I just so happened to be on the dating corner Discord chat
Yes.
yesterday,
Yes.
and I like this question, so I'm going to steal it. I don't want to say this person's name, but so you can give them a fake name.
Is it I don't need to know the
Oh
gender.
no, you don't get to know the gender. It's a
Okay.
girl.
Okay. Her name is Greta.
Greta Thunberg.
No.
Greta. Oh no.
Well, no, sorry. I don't want her to be associated with the 20-year-old liberal eco-fascist Greta
She's 20
Thunberg.
years old.
She is 20 years old.
Okay, good. Because when I saw Andrew Tate say that, I was like, dude, she's like a child. I don't think you can. I don't think you
Let
can
me
say
change
that
it
to her.
from Greta to
Gretel.
no. Gretel. How about give me a second here. Mar
It's the word martyr.
I was gonna say Marjorie,
Marjorie.
but I
Got it.
think we've done Marjorie before.
Dorothea.
Dorothea,
Yeah.
Dorothy. How
Dorothy.
about
Dorothy Winifred.
Dorothy Winifred, Dorothy or Winifred,
DW.
DW.
All right. This one's from
Uther,
This one's from Uther Pendragon's daughter, DW.
DW. Please
Dating
commit.
question. So,
Yeah.
a few months ago, DW, I started seeing this guy that goes to college with me. He's not Catholic, but he made it seem like he just never grew up with the faith much and is open to it. There have been
Okay.
multiple conversations where he said this kind of thing. He's willing to go to church with me, learn
Hmm.
about theology, etc. We've been official for about a month now, and somehow it just came up that while he's open to learning about faith, he could, quote, never believe in God.
Oh,
What? I feel super blindsided. I'm not sure what to do. I've gotten pretty attached and I'm pretty confused because I've talked openly about my future goals of getting married and having kids. And in the same conversation last night, he talked about how he never wants to get married and doesn't believe in marriage. Is this an opportunity or should I break it off right away? I don't really want to, but maybe it would be stupid not to. He's a really great guy, great boyfriend, super respectful, helpful, all the things you want in a man, except that he's not Catholic. What do you think?
wow. This is why it's important at the start of anything, a debate, a podcast, a relationship, to define your terms. Because if you don't have the terms defined, ships passing in the night. Oh, yeah, I'd be open to learning more about faith. Who knows what that means?
Who knows what that means? Yeah.
It doesn't mean faith in God. It just means faith in anything. So that stinks. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, though. What do you do now? My gut's like run for the hills. But what I think you should
Yeah.
actually do,
Oh,
I think you should say, have a meeting, call a meeting to order using Robert's rules.
emergency meeting.
Emergency meeting. What if in Among Us you had to use Robert's rules to send someone out the airlock?
You do, kind of. You have to
Well,
get seconded.
yeah, that's true. So have a meeting with him and say, I've called you here to this meeting because I want to discuss some things. You said you were open to faith. What I thought that meant was you'd be open to believing in God. What you said the other day is that you don't want to believe in God and also not marriage and all of these things.
Yeah.
For me, I cannot be with someone who, one, doesn't want to believe in God and two, doesn't believe in marriage. I'm open to dating you if you're willing to pursue these things with me. If you are not willing to pursue these things, I don't want to date you anymore. And then it's like very clear because you give him the option to try if you like him. And then it's not like he's not blindsided in the same way when you just come back to him and be like, oh, yeah, since you said this, I'm breaking up with you now. And so
Sure.
I think the conversation gives room for it to all be laid out and it lets your position be known. And to be unclear is to be unkind.
Bars.
Yeah, I think I don't think there's really any other alternative there. You can't really like trick someone who doesn't even know what faith is to believe in God. I was thinking of different ways you could trick him, maybe like
Like
know.
put like a I don't know, like a Richard Dawkins book underneath like a cardboard box with a stick on a string, and then when he goes and he picks it up, he's like, "Oh, the God delusion, heck yeah!" You pull the string and you trap him, and then you push him and you get him baptized. Push him into a pool or something, and you baptize him.
Or simpler, you could just take the dust jacket for the Richard Dawkins God delusion, put it around Trent Horn while we're Catholic. And then he reads it and he's like, oh, this is a series of compelling and thorough arguments. And
I didn't realize Richard Dawkins was so pro-Catholicism.
Yeah, this is crazy. I believe in God. No.
Shoot, no. Oh, dang it.
Sign him up on the email list for Summa in a year and just email him the entire Summa every day. Have you tried the catechism in a year with him? Have you tried podcasting? Have you tried introducing him to this show?
I have a different opinion than you.
What do you think, Patrick?
I
Do you
think she should just break up with him.
she should just break up with him, but she
Mhm.
likes him. What if he's
I don't
cute? What if he's a good kisser?
I immediately don't trust this guy, and here's why. She's like, I thought he said that he was open to these things. Maybe I misheard him. You did not mishear him. He did say that. He totally did say that. This is my read of the situation over this paragraph of text.
You think he's an asshole?
I think he lied. I don't think he did this intentionally. I don't think he did this like connivingly. I think DW. I think that. I don't know this person, but I think he's like, DW is cute, and she likes this thing. She's interested in this thing because to him it's all neutral, right? To him, you might as
Right.
well be interested in bowling for all he cares, you know. And so it's like, oh,
Do a
she
lot
like,
worse than bowling.
yeah, I'd be interested in learn, like I'd be like interested in going to mass, okay, but he's not. He's like, I could see myself like learning more about faith, okay, but he didn't. So he's like saying all these things. I think he's saying all these things so that he can get to the relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. Well, there's nothing like
We've all lied to get into relationships.
all of us. But like it's I think he didn't realize what he was agreeing to when he said those things. I think
Mhm.
he probably you probably did hear him say, "Yeah, I'm willing to like go to church. I'm like willing to get married." And then like now that he's got the relationship, he's like, kind of gloves come off. Like, no, I don't believe in marriage, which is a weird thing to say.
That's a crazy thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that alone is like disqualifying. It's like, okay, well, you go figure that out before you.
Wow.
But my main thing is like, okay, so he said all of these things like I'm willing to go to church with you. I'm willing to learn about theology, etc. And turns out that wasn't true. Okay, so you tell me that he's a really great guy, super respectful, helpful. All right, is that gonna go away too? Like that's my first impression is like if he was pretending to be interested in faith and then is he pretending to be a nice guy just to hang out with you? You're only a month in.
DW, you are a beautiful 17th century ship that's been launched by the Portuguese. Okay? You are on your maiden voyage. You're a month out to sea. And what you have right now is some detritus that's dragging along behind you.
Sure.
You can either pull that detritus aboard
Uh-huh.
or you can cut it loose. Do what the Portuguese would do, DW.
Start the European slave trade.
Cut the detritus loose.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
This is in no way, disclaimer, this analogy to a beautiful boat is in no way a comment on DW's weight or appearance. I would like to make it known that I'm purely talking about the beauty of a complex mechanism such as a sailing vessel.
She has a default Discord profile picture. I do not know what she looked like.
I have no clue what this woman is. I think she's
I've
great.
never seen a woman in my life.
I am Matt Walsh's target demographic.
Someone I made a joke on the Crunch Twitter account about oh my gosh, what was it? Oh yeah, ask a girl out. Just if you see a girl you like, ask her out. Unless you're at a gym, you'll end up on TikTok, right?
Right.
And someone replied, a woman replied, "I'm not even a guy, and I can't help but look at these girls." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I'm not gonna like this tweet or respond to it in a serious way. So I just responded, I've never even seen a woman, so I don't know.
There's no way for me to comment on the frequency with which I look at women's butts.
Yeah, there's
In
like
a way
I'm not.
there's no safe way to do this. We're out.
No, there's
It's
no
over.
safe way. Yeah, it's not going to happen. We're just gonna pretend that I don't go to the gym because that's easy enough. One time
Yeah.
I was talking about going to the gym and someone laughed at me. They're like, "You don't go to the gym." I don't care though. It was a girl who like going to the gym was her whole personality. She's like, "I've
Mhm.
never seen you there," and I was like, "Yeah, I purposefully leave when I see you walk in." I'm just kidding.
When I was in college, one time I waved at a girl and she gagged.
What? Really?
I think it was like a coincidence thing. But I was just like, "Hey," and she went. So of course I like tweeted it. It got tons of likes because like today I waved at a girl and she gagged, and everybody thought that was funny. So it's like, oh yeah, Ethan's this guy that can't get dates. He's trying to meet women and they're throwing up. It's hard out
That's
there.
so funny.
It's hard out there.
Have you seen that video of Andrew Tate when he was a beta and he was like kind of a nerdy looking guy?
No.
Because Andrew Tate's a nerdy
You
looking
mean that
guy.
video from last week?
No, I found this. I found it in our crunch Instagram because I happened upon this video and I was like, that looks like Andrew Tate. It is. It's like there's like a video of him from I don't know when it was, but he's kind of like a dorky looking guy. Like he's got a nerdy face,
I mean, he's dorky. I mean, he's dorky. You
Like
know?
take away all like the ripped rich thing, and like he's
Yeah.
kind of he looks like a big old nerd. Like he's really into chess,
Yeah.
and he's kind of a dork, right?
Yeah.
And so like there's a video of him. There's a video of him, and he kind of looks like a skinny nerdy guy with like he's got those glasses that are like the square glasses, that
Uh-huh.
guys used to wear. You remember
You,
those?
are you describing your own glasses right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he had no, he had like the wire frames,
Sure.
that
Sure.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm with you.
yeah, they look like they like turn into sunglasses in the sun.
Yes.
Um, and there was like a girl like roasting him about how like he would never get a woman.
Mm.
And you can kind of like see him like look around and like the caption's like, and from that moment I decided, and it like shows a bunch of like epic photos of Andrew Tate, and I was just like,
Yeah.
man, that's so sad, dude.
Yeah.
You held that your whole life, man.
Imagine
That's
being
crazy.
imagine being so disturbed at the fact that you can't get a woman that you decide to start sex trafficking.
Imagine getting owned so hard you move to Romania and commit crimes.
Yeah. It's like I can't. I'm not on board with that one.
I felt bad for
Um,
him. I was like, we just need to put him out of his misery.
it's like telling a guy who owns a farm in 1793. It's like you're never going to be productive. He's like, watch me, and he buys slaves. It's like don't do that. You've taken it
Dang,
too
man.
far now. You
You're
know.
right. Like,
But that's basically what he did. He's like, oh, you don't
yeah,
think I can get girls? I'm gonna. And then he got women. He like
he got
acquired
them.
them.
He
He
bought
became
them.
a pimp. It's
He
like
purchased them.
he's like,
Yeah.
brother, no, I'm not gonna look up to you. I don't care how strong you are. Just, yeah, he's not a good guy, and I'm not a fan of his, and I don't want to talk about him anymore.
If you put on an affectation, I was thinking about this. Like, if you put on like this character, right,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you get women, you've kind of proved that you can't get women. Like in a like a roundabout way,
Mm-hmm. I have to
because
be someone else.
yeah, you like I have to be someone else in order to like,
It
be
sounds
loved.
like he needs a Steubenville talk from 2012 about removing your mask and being who you truly are
You
around
know what's
people.
funny is you're right, he does, but like that stuff is so basic that it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, he really just needs like a high
he
school,
just needs the gospel.
Oh,
Oh,
Sam.
that's crazy. You're telling me that when Jesus came, he was like, "You can just be who you are, and I'm gonna love you and care about you." Frick.
He's
That
had too
ruins my
many
whole thing.
he's had too many people tell him that the world requires something of him, not enough people telling him that he needs to be loved.
Wow. He said
Yeah,
too many dads.
he said too many dads, not enough moms, too much warped fatherhood, not enough authentic motherhood. Right there. Buy my
And
book.
with that, we're gonna close the podcast down. We're closing
Yeah.
it down.
6.5 years.
This is the end of a season. We're gonna start a new season here in a couple days. For about 7 days, we'll start our next season. So
Yeah.
get excited for that. But we're gonna take a bit of a break, little break,
Little week-long break.
little week-long break where we're not gonna upload anything. And I hope that's okay with you guys. So we just need to focus on ourselves, our careers, our families, all these things. Because we've just been working so hard on the podcast, and we just want to make sure that each season is as good as it can be. So
Yeah.
season number 342 starts next week.
Yeah, our podcast is unique. We have about like 340 seasons of one episode seasons.
Yeah. I mean, nobody else is doing it that way.
No.
If you want to keep up on all of our seasons and all of our seasonings, you can go to bit.ly/crunch discord, join our community.
Oregano, cumin, thyme, basil.
Thyme.
I didn't think you were going to catch it.
Of course I caught it. I catch nothing
Thyme.
gets past me.
Parsley.
Salt.
All right, Kansas.
Oh, hey, listen, you got to have it to make bread. You're welcome. Bit.ly/crunch discord. If you like what we do and you want to support our endeavors to make a VeggieTales commentary track of all the episodes of VeggieTales up until the Jonah of VeggieTales movie. You're going to go to patreon.com/thecrunch. You're going to want to support us at the $5 a month level or the $10 a month level if you want a bonus podcast every week. It's about an hour long, and it's just more of this every week. So you can get twice as much crunch for half the price. So do that. Patreon.com/thecrunch.
Yeah.
And finally, if you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening as an audio listener, go subscribe on YouTube to the Crunch Catholic Podcast. And you can watch us as we continue to grow in our skills and our abilities.
Indeed.
Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
I know neither of them have arms or legs, but I still think that Jerry Gourd could beat up any of the other VeggieTales.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We'll be praying for you, and we'll see you all next week.